The Onitsha Bridge never sleeps. Traders shout over each other. Tricycle horns blare from every direction. And money moves faster than the traffic that chokes the Niger. Somebody is selling phone chargers. Somebody else is hawking pure water. And in between all that noise, a question hangs there that nobody bothers to ask. In a place where everybody is just trying to survive, does doing the right thing still count for anything? Chukwudi sells phone accessories from a wooden kiosk wedged between a provision shop and a woman frying bean cakes. Just another face in the crowd. Nobody special. He's been on that bridge for 4 years, and if you walked past him tomorrow, you probably wouldn't look twice. But something happened to Chukwudi last week. Something that started with a POS machine and a simple mistake. And what he did next is making people all over this country stop and ask themselves a question they've been avoiding. What would you do if 200,000 Naira landed in your account by mistake and nobody else knew? The bridge market doesn't give you time to think. That's the first thing you need to understand. Everything moves at speed because speed is money, and money is the only thing anybody's chasing. Trust is rare there. You learn that fast. The woman selling tomatoes will smile at you and slip 2 rotten ones into the bag when you're not looking. The tricycle driver quotes one price, then doubles it halfway through the ride because he suddenly remembered the road is bad. The POS agent charges you 300 Naira for a 5,000 Naira withdrawal and acts like he's doing you a favor. Shortchanging isn't stealing on the bridge. It's just business. Price inflation isn't dishonesty. It's being smart. Fake POS charges are what everybody does. So why should you be the fool who doesn't? There's a whole language for it. A whole culture built around the idea that if you're not taking a little extra, you're the one losing. The everybody does it mindset wraps around the bridge like the dust that coats everything by noon. Chukwudi knows this world inside out. His margins are thin. A phone charger that costs him 800 Naira sells for 2,000 Naira if the customer doesn't bargain too hard. On a good day, he clears maybe 5,000 Naira profit. On a bad day, which is most days, he's just covering his costs and hoping tomorrow brings something better. The temptation to cut corners sits right there on his shoulder every morning.
Fake a price.
Sell the used charger as new. Add an extra charge on the POS. Who would know? Who would care? But Chukwudi has something that doesn't quite fit with the bridge. His mother's voice. She raised him in a small town outside Oka, and she had this thing she'd say whenever he came home with something that didn't belong to him. The person you really are is the person you become when nobody is watching. He couldn't shake those words even if he tried. They followed him to Onitsha, settled into his kiosk, and sat quietly in the back of his mind while he watched other traders do what other traders do. Then Tuesday happened. A customer walked up, tired eyes, moving quick like everybody else on that bridge. He wanted a charger. 2,000. He pulled out his ATM card and Chukwudi handed him the POS machine. The transaction went through. The customer grabbed the charger and disappeared into the crowd before Chukwudi even looked at his phone. The alert buzzed. Chukwudi glanced down, expecting to see the usual 2,000 Naira credit notification. Instead, his screen showed 202,000 Naira. He stared at it, blinked, looked again. The customer had typed an extra 2 zeros, and neither of them noticed. 200,000 extra, sitting in Chukwudi's account, from a man who was already gone, swallowed by the bridge crowd. No receipt, no name, No way to trace him back. Chukwudi, first thought came fast, almost before he could stop it. This is a blessing. Nobody will ever know. The customer clearly didn't check what he typed. The POS machine didn't flag it. There's no receipt, no paper trail that connects this specific 200,000 to any specific person. It's just money now. Free money. And 200,000 naira solves a lot of problems for a man like Chukwudi. His shop rent is due in 2 weeks and he's short. His younger sister needs school fees. His mother's roof has been leaking since the last rainy season, and he's been putting off the repairs because there's never enough. That money could clear his debts, fix his mother's house, and still leave something for stock. All from a mistake that wasn't his fault. All from a stranger who probably wouldn't even remember which kiosk he bought the charger from. His hand tightened around the phone. His heart was beating faster now. The bridge kept moving around him. Traders shouting, tricycle horns blaring. Nobody paying any attention to the man standing frozen behind his wooden counter. And somewhere, beneath all that noise, quiet but persistent, his mother's voice started speaking again. The phone felt heavier now. Same phone, same weight in his palm, but those 3 extra digits made it feel like a stone. Chukwudi set it on the counter, screen up. 202,000 naira. His mind split in two. One side sounded like every trader he'd shared a drink with on that bridge. Keep it. The market owes you 4 years of scraping by while customers bagging you down to nothing. 4 years of watching others get ahead while you play by rules nobody follows. This isn't stealing. The man made the mistake. That's on him. The other side was quieter. His mother, standing in the doorway years ago, watching him leave for Onitsha. She didn't say much, just looked at him with those eyes that always saw more than he wanted her to see. And then she said the words he'd heard 100 times growing up. Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. He thought about the customer's face, tired eyes. The kind of tired that goes deeper than a bad night's sleep. The man moved fast, but carried something heavy. Maybe a small business owner like himself. Maybe that 200,000 naira was rent money, or school fees, or something more urgent. The kind of money you don't accidentally type extra zeros on, unless your mind is somewhere else entirely. He replayed the transaction. The customer's hands shaking as he typed the PIN. The way he grabbed the charger without looking back. A man in a hurry, but also distracted by something bigger than a phone charger. 200,000 naira could change Chukwudi's life. His sister's school fees. His mother's leaking roof. The debt that kept him awake some nights, doing math that never added up. All of it gone, because a stranger's finger slipped. But at what cost? He'd have to live with it. Every time his mother looked at him with pride, he'd know. Every time he passed a church or a mosque, he'd remember. The money would spend, but that quiet erosion of something he couldn't name, that would stay. He pocketed the phone and stepped out. The woman next to him looked up. "Where you dey go?" Chukwudi didn't answer. He started walking from shop to shop, describing a man with tired eyes who bought a charger 30 minutes ago. Nobody remembered. Some laughed. One trader told him to stop forming saint, that God had answered his prayers and he was running from the blessing. Chukwudi kept walking. The bridge stretched ahead, loud and indifferent, And somewhere in that crowd was a man who didn't know he'd lost everything.
It took nearly 3 hours.
Shop to shop, same description, same tired eyes. Most traders shrugged. Some recognized the face, but not the name. A few told him the man probably hadn't noticed the money was gone.
Chukwudi kept going.
Something had shifted when he decided to look, and there was no turning back. He found him at a provision store near the bridge's eastern end, buying bottled water. Same hurried manner, same weight in his shoulders. Chukwudi approached and asked if he'd bought a phone charger earlier. The man looked confused, then wary. Yes. Why? Chukwudi told him. The pause, the extra zeros, the 200,000 naira. The man's face went blank. He pulled out his phone, checked his bank app, and the blood drained from his cheeks. That money, he said, barely above a whisper, was for his mother's hospital bill. She was at Regina Cayley, waiting for surgery. He'd been running around all morning, gathering payments, and hadn't checked his balance after buying the charger. Too distracted, too scared, too focused on getting back to the hospital. Chukwudi transferred the 200,000 naira in cash back right there, between the provision store and a woman selling oranges. No hesitation, no request for a reward. Just the transfer, the confirmation ping, and the man staring at his screen like he couldn't believe it. People had gathered. A small crowd, drawn by the emotion on man's face, by the quiet way Chukwudi stood, like he hadn't done anything extraordinary. The man grabbed Chukwudi's hands, called him a rare breed, said he'd never met anyone like him on that bridge. The orange seller wiped her eyes. Somebody pulled out a phone and started recording. The video caught everything. The man's shaking voice explaining what happened. Chukwudi, looking uncomfortable, trying to wave it off. The crowd murmuring, some in disbelief, some in something that looked like hope. By evening, that video was everywhere. And here's what matters. Chukwudi didn't do it for the video. He didn't even know he was being recorded. He did it because his mother's voice was louder than the bridge that day. Because when nobody was watching, he chose to be exactly the person she raised. The video hit WhatsApp first. That's how things spread in Nigeria. Not through algorithms, not through careful marketing, through group chats. Somebody sends it to their family group, their church group, their old schoolmates. By morning, it was on TikTok, then Twitter, then the blogs picked it up. Onitsha Bridge, honesty story. Chukwudi, the phone charger seller. The man who returned 200,000 naira nobody knew was missing. The comments told a story of their own. Nigerians are tired of bad news. Tired of opening their phones to find another politician stealing, another police officer extorting, another public official caught on tape asking for a bribe. This was different. A regular man, no title, no connections, no reason to do the right thing, except that it was the right thing. People shared it with captions like, "Hope still day," and "Not all heroes wear cape. Some cell phone charger for Onitsha Bridge." Chuks didn't ask for any of it. He went back to his kiosk the next day like nothing happened. But something had changed. Customers started coming, not just for chargers, but to see him. People who'd never crossed that bridge before walked past his stall just to greet him. Some bought things they didn't need. Others just wanted to shake his hand. A woman brought him food. An elderly man stopped to tell him his mother raised him well. Trust, which had always been in short supply on that bridge, suddenly had a face and a name. Other traders noticed. The ones who'd laughed when he went searching for man now sat quiet, doing their own math. If Chukwudi could return 200,000 naira in cash and end up with more customers than he'd ever had, maybe the shortcut wasn't the shortcut after all. Small shifts began. A tricycle driver started giving exact change. A provision seller stopped hiding expired goods behind the fresh ones. Nothing dramatic. Nothing you'd notice if you weren't looking. But the bridge felt different. One man's refusal to take what wasn't his had done something laws and sermons never managed. It made integrity look practical. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to say out loud. Nigeria's problem isn't the big thieves in government. It's not the headline corruption or the billions that vanish into thin air. The real problem is smaller, quieter, and it lives in all of us. It's the just this once mindset. The tiny surrender that happens when nobody's watching and the cost seems too small to matter. You're walking down the street, eating ground nuts. The shell drops from your hand. There's no bin nearby. Just this once, you tell yourself. The wind will carry it. You are at the ATM and the queue is long. Your friend is near the front. Just this once, you squeeze in next to him. You're a civil servant and somebody offers you 2,000 naira to push a file faster. Just this once. Everybody does it. Multiply that by 200 million people. Every day. Every small wrong rationalized into insignificance. That's not a corruption problem. That's a character problem. And you can't arrest your way out of a character problem. You can't legislate it away. You can only choose differently, one moment at a time. Chukwudi's choice on that bridge wasn't about 200,000 naira in cash. It was about who he decided to be when the decision was his alone. That's the Onitsha Bridge test. Not the money, the moment. The quiet space between temptation and action, where you either become the person you claim to be or you don't. Every day, you face your own version. The litter beside the clean bin. The bribe you could take and nobody would know. The queue you could jump because you're in a hurry. The shortcut that saves you time but costs you something. Harder to name. Each one is a test. And each test, passed or failed, shapes what this country becomes. The change Nigeria needs doesn't start in Aso Rock. It starts on the bridge, in the market, at the ATM queue, in the small decisions that feel like they don't matter until you look back years later and realize they were the only things that ever did. Chukwudi proved something simple. Integrity isn't dead in Nigeria. It's just waiting for people brave enough to choose it when choosing it costs something. Next time you face your own bridge test, remember the phone charger seller who could have walked away richer and chose to walk away whole. The change we keep praying for starts with the choices we make when nobody's watching, when nobody's recording, when the only reward is the person staring back at you in the mirror. Share your own integrity story. Tag us with #DoRightStartsWithMe. Tell us about the moments you chose right when wrong was easier. Because Chukwudi's story isn't supposed to be rare. It's supposed to be normal. And normal starts